All right, so real estate investors, business owners, if you're looking to purchase a mobile home park or maybe even sell, definitely watch this video because a 20-year-old funder is going to rant about what you definitely need to know in this vein. So I'm working with a real estate investor. He's purchasing his second mobile home park. I was able to help him purchase his first one, and I did coach him along on how to structure the purchase agreement. And it was like, okay, I don't have a whole lot of funds to put down. So how can I structure this to make sure that I'm able to get funding from you to be able to purchase this? So he was able, so I told him, let's see if you can get the lowest LTV and see if you can get owner finance. So the purchase price for this mobile home park was 400,000. He was able to get $100,000 owner finance, and so he put $1,000 down. So he's looking at me to fund $299,000 to purchase it. So that was a good move. Um, and then I'm asking him, okay, to get some documentation. All right, now here we go. So the first thing, well, the first mistake I'll say, so he's like, Dominic, I'm in love with this property. That's the first mistake. Don't fall in love with any property, any business deal, because it could break your heart. But anyway, so he was like, let me let's start getting some documents so we can evaluate this deal. All right. So the first thing he gave me was, and I asked for a rent roll. All right. So the rent roll was good, and it lists. So there was 19 different lots. Um, four of them are vacant, and then on the rent roll, it lists the names of the individuals that are renting from there. All right. So the next thing I said, well, you know, we need to get some kind of documentation to kind of verify the income. So what can you get me? And I said, well, can you request at least a bank statement? Let's kind of start, So from a strategy standpoint, hey, if you can start to get them to commit, send a few things, then the likelihood of getting other documentation would be higher. That's kind of the strategy we were using. So I asked for a bank statement. All right. Now what they sent me was a transactional history. So if you know what if you've ever had online banking where you can see like the deposits as well as withdrawals that go in and out of your account. So what the seller did, what she did was send out like a 6-month history report of the deposits. But check this out. This transactional report was from her a personal checking account. So it wasn't even from a business checking account. Now, why is that a good or bad thing? Well, how do I know that this is truly for the business? Obviously, giving it to us uh, for this purpose, but how can we? I mean, business accounts are for business purposes, right? Personal accounts are for personal purpose. So I can't even verify that this is the right thing. All right. Now, the one thing I noticed on the transactional history is that uh, there was only deposits. So I guess when she printed it out, it was only for the deposits and withdrawals. So the disadvantage of the withdrawals is maybe to see what kind of expenses or so forth for associated with this property. Can't even verify that. All right, so you got the 19 different properties and actually some 4 vacant. So there's 15, deposits that we want to verify for or payments or payment amount. So you got the total amount of the income from the rent roll, and then you got the historical or the transaction report from the bank account. So let's just say for 1 month it was like in April, I was like, all right, so there was four deposits. So what I did was I added up those four deposits to see if that amount adds up to what's on the rent roll. And unfortunately it didn't. So meaning that, so what does that mean? Yep, well, maybe they're not collecting as much as what the people are living there. More people living than paying rent. So so one of the things I asked is like, all right, let's just get the tax returns. Okay. Now, if you have guessed, well, there's no business bank statement, there's probably no business bank tax return, right? Well, with the business, what I was like, a lot of times when you have property on your personal tax return, there's a schedule, what's this thing called a Schedule E. And what you do is you outline on your Schedule E, the income and expenses associated with the property. No Schedule E. I don't have anything um, to verify income nor expenses. And I already told you we don't have business bank statements. So typically, ask for what's called an operating statement, okay, which will list. It's kind of like a personal, it's income statement or profit and loss statement, and which will list the income, all the rental income, and then all the expenses on it. And typically, there's two major expenses, right? What are they? So you got your property taxes as well as your 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 insurance, right? Because think of it, if you're doing a mortgage, right? Those are what's usually inbounded, what the mortgage company is going to want to make sure that it gets paid. But if we're I'm trying to figure out what is the net income of this property, based on the income minus all the expenses, what is left over to pay the debt. That's why the reason why I want that information. All right. So also I asked for so I got no operating statement. So I'm asking for at least give me some leases, right? So if you got the rent roll, you can match the names on the rent roll with the leases, right? So you can at least verify, hey, what's going on? And they said, well, we don't have any leases. We're ever going month to month. Well, even with old leases, you can at least see how long maybe the people have been into the property. So I have no leases. And then I asked for, can you at least give me some receipts? All right. So a lot of time, not everybody in the world, United States, actually has a checking account, right? So they're maybe not paying with checks or using a debit card or paying with merchant card or whatever like that. They may be using cash. Well, if you're paying your lease payment via cash, you're probably going to want to have at least a receipt so that you have some verification that you've made your lease payments. Because just from a situation where you're living from a school and that kind of stuff, you want some verification where you live so you can so your kids can go to school. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So no receipts. I asked for let me at least get some information because usually there's two things on a lot, right? So you got the lot and then you have the mobile home on the lot, right? So let me get some information on the mobile homes on the lot. Why do you want that? Well, so there's a document called the NADA report. It's similar to what a car, it's kind of almost like an appraisal report, an inspection report for each mobile home. And what it'll say is like how old the mobile home is. So like if you're purchasing the mobile home park and maybe also the actual unit, the mobile home unit, you see like what kind of expenses associated when you buy this asset that you would need. Do you going to have to replace the mobile home, maybe fix it up in a couple of years because maybe it's the condition of it. The other thing that you want to know is what condition is it, not from a repair standpoint, but like, is it on a foundation, right? Where this, I mean, if it's a mobile home, is the actual mobile home going to actually be moved? It's mobile. Is it going to move? Does it still have the wheels on it? Because if it's stationary, the likelihood of someone, putting it on a trailer and moving it away is low, right? If it's on the foundation. So you want to know what condition of this actual mobile home is. So I don't have that information. So I don't have any expenses. So to know how to run this thing, I can't verify any income. I mean, so this is the type of deal that you don't want to just walk away from. You want to run, right? So I forgive me for ranting, but this is some very valuable information. I mean, if you're selling something like this, how you going to get the maximum value of this asset? And if you're buying this asset, how are you going to be able to, I mean, maybe if you pay cash, you can get or maybe they have to do a wholesaler finance, but it's really difficult for a funder to fund a project like this. All right, well, hey, definitely join our Keys for Business Masterclass where we talk about how to prepare for financing. Actually, in a program, we show you how to get access to capital. Well, actually, without having to take out a loan, give up ownership in your business, or put up assets like your personal residence. All right. Well, hey, thanks for watching and have a great one.